What's up, RPG fans? Welcome to episode 28 of the Switchrpg podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Philip, and I'm joined, as always, by the voice of the people, Gia.
The voice of the people, and also maybe ambassador of Titletown. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Now it's official. Now it's official.
And tonight we are joined by a special guest. You know him from Discord and the website Switchrpg.com. It is Meatball Sub. What's up?
How's it going, guys?
So nice to finally see your face attached to the name of so many well-written articles. It's so nice to have you on.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
Nice.
Yeah, if you frequent the website Switchrpg.com, then you know that Meatball Sub is the writing machine over there, putting out a lot of great stuff. So good to have you on, ladies and gentlemen. If this is your first time listening to the show, first off, welcome, and second off, this is the official show from Switchrpg.com that brings you all the exciting news, upcoming game releases, and the latest in the world of RPGs on the Nintendo Switch platform. This week, we got a lot of stuff, a lot of upcoming games on the Switch. We've also got a lot of questions, most questions we've had in a while, and a really good side quest for you. Let's jump right into the news with a game announcement coming to you from Gamatsu. Never know what that's supposed to be called.
It's like the GIF thing, you know. That's okay.
That's right. It's interchangeable.
Yes.
And by interchangeable, we mean it's only referred to as GIF. Anyway, from Jamatsu.com, the recent vampire-centric action RPG from Don't Nod Entertainment is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And we've got a little quote here. In Q3, the group will continue to maximize the potential of the Vampyr license. After the game's impressive success on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, it will be Nintendo Switch's turn to welcome the Don't Nod title to reach an even wider audience. So once again, we see another big game coming over to the Switch. A little late, but better late than never, right?
Yeah, that's definitely okay. And to have a good, and it's a Western RPG, so it's nice to have something a little bit different getting ported over like this. So I never had the opportunity to play it. I mean, this could be it. It did interest me at the time it came out. It still does. So I don't know. This might be on my radar for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it actually runs. I mean, yeah. I don't think it's like a super resource intensive game, but I'm very curious about that side of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I know performance and optimization is always the big question when we talk games on the Switch. When it comes to, am I interested in this? Well, let me tell you what. One of my favorite ways to play Skyrim is to first go get bitten by a vampire and play as a vampire. So here we go. Here's just a game about it.
You go vampire, huh?
I do.
That was always like a challenge for me. If I wanted to go vampire, I felt like that was always a little more difficult. Like if I went lycanthropy, that was a little bit better. I thought it was, anyways.
I don't know. I don't know. I've always liked vampires. So yeah, I mean it's a little bit handicapping, but yeah, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it, especially on stage 4, you're all powerful. Don't go in the sun. Let me tell you what. One of my favorite moments playing Oblivion for the very first time was contracting the disease without realizing it, and I thought my game was bugged because I kept automatically dying whenever I walked outside, and I was just like, I'm completely screwed. I'm bugged, and no, it's because I had contracted vampirism.
Oh boy.
That was like, this is a great game.
Yeah.
Tough break.
speaking of Bethesda, guys, moving on, we got NintendoEverything.com saying that Bethesda is always considering Switch when it comes to their games. In fact, Wolfenstein should be coming to the system next, soon, whatnot. Now, we've known Bethesda has been a pretty good supporter of the Switch ever since the launch, when the Switch launched with Skyrim. And since then, we've gotten other stuff from them, such as Doom, right? And so now it looks like Wolfenstein's coming over. What are some other maybe RPGs that you guys want? I know that there's one glaring one.
Yeah, Fallout.
Yeah.
Well, any of them. 3, New Vegas. I don't know. Maybe the Switch could handle 4. I don't see 76 getting on there because it relies so much on multiplayer and all that stuff. But yeah, we're missing Fallout for sure.
Yeah, I think they actually ruled out 76 already, but I would definitely love to see New Vegas or 3 or even 4 if it could run it. I would love that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since I played 4. I mean, how much more resource intensive was 4 than Skyrim? I know it was a few years later.
Yeah, I mean, 4 is not on the Xbox 360, right? It's just on the Xbox One and PS4. I don't think it ever made it on those other consoles.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I mean, in my head, if it only was released on something like a PS4, I don't think there's an Xbox One. I don't think there's any chance it can really run well on a Nintendo Switch. So, for example, the Fallout 3 and New Vegas, those games were initially released on a 360 and the PS3. I think those could easily run on a Nintendo Switch. So, I mean, that's kind of where my head is at.
Yeah, I guess it depends on. It's a little weird how things go, because it seems like sometimes the further back you go, then the engine doesn't really play well with the system. So, but yeah, you bring all the Fallout. That's what I gotta say. All the Fallout, yeah. And the map for Fallout 4 is ginormous. It's freaking huge. So it would be nice. It would be nice to have Fallout on there.
Yeah, but you would.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
You would think that. I mean, I didn't realize it, but they already have Wolfenstein 2 on there, right? On Switch.
Right. Yep.
So, okay. I mean, they could bring a game like that, obviously not open world, but it's pretty graphic intensive and stuff. So you would think if they could bring something like that they could probably figure out a way to make Fallout 4 work. Sure.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think of that. You're right. And actually, this is for Wolfenstein Youngblood. And
okay.
I do remember, I want to say this was like, it was listed somewhere and then it was delisted. Like it was like an accident. Am I reading that wrong? Or did I read that somewhere? I'm not sure. Maybe I read it in the article. Yeah, Fallout 76 isn't happening on the Switch. Hines said that the next Wolfenstein game is coming to the console. It's unclear if he was referring to Wolfenstein Youngblood, which was listed at GameStop before they pulled it later. So it was listed there, so maybe they were a little premature. I mean, it seemed really early to do so, but who knows? Bethesda, like you said, is a major supporter of the Switch, so it's certainly a possibility that Wolfenstein could be on the Switch as well.
And since we're listing off the Bethesda releases on Switch, let's not forget that big game, Fallout Shelter, right?
It's on there. It's on there.
That massive release.
It is
Fallout
indeed.
Shelter. At some point, it'll probably also get that Elder Scrolls Blades.
Oh, dude, I would love that.
Don't count that one out either.
Yeah, I would love that.
And don't they have like a card game that's out or coming out?
Oh yeah, Legends. Is it Legends?
There you go.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
yeah, we're seeing a lot of mobile ports coming over, so it's a possibility for sure.
All right, we got a really interesting one now. We touched on level 5 last week, guys, when we were talking about the previously canceled horror RPG that was initially supposed to be coming out on PSP. They have mentioned that it is coming on Switch now, but that's not all level 5's got coming. We still now know of a quote unquote ace in the hole that hasn't been announced yet. And Siliconera.com has an article here. You guys need to go read it. Search Siliconera level 5. And they're talking to the president. And he mentions that the reason that the game hasn't necessarily been announced yet is because of previously we covered the fact that Yokai Watch 4 and their other game, Inazuma 11 Airs, however that's supposed to be said, both of those are going to be delayed. So they felt like it was going to be a quote unquote disservice to the fans to then hype up these other games whenever they just delayed some, yada yada yada. So anyway, I'm going to read this little snippet here because this is really interesting. Who knows if it's just PR speak, but I'd like to get both of you guys' opinion on this. So this is quoting from the Siliconera article. Apart from this, Hino also wants to make an online-oriented game with elements that have never been seen before, especially as somebody who is very into online games. He discussed the merits and rise of asynchronous online games as seen in recent releases such as Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which he finds deeply interesting. Hino raises the point that there are many moment-to-moment experiences that he wouldn't have experienced if it weren't for online games like Ultima Online, and he believes this is one of the reasons people get hooked to them. His experiences with online games have not only influenced Level 5's multimedia project games, but this is also why he wants to make a surprisingly online-focused game as the company's 20th anniversary game. He ended off by asking people to look forward to the announcement. So something we've never seen before in online games. What could we be looking at here?
Go ahead, Meatball. What do you got? What are we looking at?
I have no clue. Is this the same company that does the Ni no Kuni series?
Gooey.
I could be totally pulling that out of. Let's see.
Da, da, da.
You had to do that. You had to do that. I don't.
People are screaming at me right now. It is level 5. Yes, Ni no Kuni.
Yes. I mean, that's all that I know them for, really. I know they had that really popular 3DS game, the Fantasy Life, and but I mean, other than that, just basing my experience off of those two IPs, I have no clue what they could possibly be doing, especially with an online game. Like I have no clue.
Yeah, and then, well, you certainly do have the PR speak, like you were saying, where it's something you've never seen before. Like, come on, like, we've seen everything, right? No, maybe not.
Or have we?
Yeah, right. So maybe they're looking into some sort of MMO. I mean, they're supporters of the Switch, so who knows?
Well, and I think what's important is throwing around the term MMO in 2018 feels so much different than it did, say, in 2003, 2004, because I feel like it's harder to find games that aren't on, like, have some sort of online incorporated with them, which in a way sort of makes them massively multiplayer. Now, and I know that, there is like the actual specific genre MMO with quests and blah, 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 persistent world, but I mean, there are so many games now in 2018 that really stretch that definition anyway. So, Destiny. I mean, exactly. So I definitely think that we could see some sort of massively multiplayer game, but it doesn't necessarily have to look like a World of Warcraft or a Final Fantasy 15. It could be action combat. It could be, on a Ni no Kuni engine, but have some sort of massively multiplayer online component. Now, I haven't picked up Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so I'm not sure what he's talking about when it comes to like asynchronous multiplayer. I don't really understand what that means. So
yeah, I don't know if that's like drop in, drop out type of deal. Maybe that's what he's talking about. So
you can you can drop into a friend's version of the world.
Right. Right. I'm not sure if that's what he's talking about, but I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, if you consider that multiplayer, I mean, I consider something like that more co-op.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe that's what he's referring to, is more of a drop in, drop out. Dark Souls kind of does that as well.
Yeah.
And I don't consider Dark Souls an MMO whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, but they keep using that term online, which does make you feel like it's something like persistent with everyone sort of connected together. So,
right.
Anyway, there you go. Teases from level 5.
They're full of them.
All right, now we got a rumor coming from Nintendo Soup that Diablo 3 could be announcing Amiibo. This is right up my alley. I have every single Amiibo ever released.
Now
I have as many Amiibo as I've caught Pokemon.
I think you're making fun of me.
Well,
and that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to hold it against you. I am all over this. And it's actually, that was an older article. It's actually been, I want to say confirmed, that we are indeed getting a Treasure Goblin Amiibo. And especially because there's a direct coming tomorrow with a live Treehouse event following that. So it's a Smash Brothers Direct coming tomorrow. Was that the first? Yeah, the first. And
yeah, so people listening to this, it'll be yesterday.
Yeah, so there's also going to be a Treehouse event with Diablo, also with Pokemon, Yoshi, and more Smash. I'm already over the Smash hype. I mean, it's been too much for me, but I have a feeling that that's when it's going to be announced. And also, there was someone in our Discord group that works for GameStop. He's a GameStop manager, and he said, "Yeah, it's coming. I saw it with my own eyes at the managers conference." So
unless he's a bold-faced liar,
I will call him out if he's a bold-faced liar.
I think it's definitely coming, because I actually checked on this in the review copy that I have, and there's a Amiibo mechanic already there. So
Oh.
I mean, it's pretty much gonna happen for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
We call that a meatball scoop.
Meatball scoop. I don't know if I like that. Doesn't sound right.
Oh man. Yeah, I had to have a little jab at Geo for the Amiibo inclusion here.
Yeah, I had to do it. I mean, but it's cool. I think actually what it's going to add, again, there's all sorts of speculation. It's going to add like it can either add like a big monster where you have to kill it and you get some good loot, or it brings you to a different realm, I think, or something to that effect.
Sorry.
The
thing that I saw was it basically opens a portal.
There you go.
But you can't internet without the Amiibo, so not exactly sure what they're going to use with it, but that's how it appears that it's going to work.
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought that we were done with rumors, I got something else for you here.
Well, we don't do rumors. I told you.
We established in like episode 4 that we don't do rumors, and then yet the last like month, Gio's been giving me rumor after rumor. He's supposed to be the professional video game journalist that doesn't subscribe to rumors, but anyway.
I confirm rumors is what I do. I confirm their existence, and I confirm that they are indeed reality. But
he manifests their existence. That's what happens. The moment he talks about them, they become real. All right. He's really wanting this one to be real. I can tell you that right now from MMORPG.com. Let's go ahead and cue that sweet Divinity Original Sin 2 soundtrack.
That's
you guys hear that? It's right there it's right there below my voice. This is what I call like one of the biggest rubber band stories that the Switchrpg podcast has ever created. Why rubber band? Because it's such a stretch.
What?
So Divinity Original Sin 2 is coming to Mac, and it has crossplay with PC. So what we are surmising is that when this game possibly comes to Switch, it could possibly, for Geo's sake, have crossplay. Now, it's possible that Geo could actually just get this done for everyone. He could, because he has such influence with this game. He could just get this done.
Number one, I'm holding up my finger here. Number one, I don't like your tone. Okay. Number two, this would be freaking awesome. Imagine
it would be awesome. It would be awesome.
Crossplay with everyone. I mean, Nintendo wants to play with everyone. Crossplay with Xbox, PC, Mac, not PS4. We don't play with PS4. But imagine that. That would be phenomenal. That would be, again, this would be on my wish list for sure. For sure.
But you'd still have to use the wonderful app to do voice chat. So
I quit. If that's the one thing I have to do, I quit.
Guys, I think I actually, Meatball, when you said that, I think I may have actually figured out why they went app and not anything native, because they knew that they were going to be doing so much crossplay that people were not going to be able to communicate with each other anyway because they were on different consoles. So why even program a native app?
It out.
There it is.
Makes sense.
So right.
Nintendo wants crossplay with everyone because they want more than 20 people online at a time.
That's terrible.
Look, for the record, wow. I am once again just
you
being
were on the
facetious
dark
here.
side. Where are you?
I'm obviously a huge fan of crossplay, and if this does come to Switch, then I do hope that it has crossplay, because I do want everyone to be able to play nicely together.
Thank you.
So, all right. Question, Meatball, did you play Mercenaries Saga?
I did.
Did you review it for the site?
I did.
Okay, well then this next story is for you, coming from Nintendo Live. We've got Circle Entertainment confirming that upcoming tactical RPG Mercenaries Wings: The False Phoenix will launch on Nintendo Switch on the 8th of November. Are you excited about this game, or?
Yes, I'm actually not going to be the one reviewing it, but I'm definitely going to play it. I mean, it's right up my alley with the Final Fantasy Tactics type gameplay. I love that stuff. I'm hoping this one's a little bit better than the other package. It wasn't terrible, especially for the price, but it was just kind of okay. But I'm hoping that they kind of improve it with this one.
So for anyone curious about Mercenaries Wings, and if they have to play Mercenaries Saga, they confirm that you don't. It is, while set sort of in the same universe, same world, it is a separate story. So you can play this as a standalone title. It has also been confirmed that you get a discount for pre-orders, discounting at 10%. It was already a fairly inexpensive title to begin with, at $12.99 US. So that will bring it down to $11.69 US. And then for all of the other currencies out there, you'll also get that 10% discount.
How long was the Mercenary Saga? Was it a fairly long game, or?
Well, it's actually 3 games in one.
Okay.
It's like a package. So I mean, there's tons of content, and I actually didn't finish the last 2, but I mean, you're probably looking at, I would say, easily 20 to 30 hours per game.
Okay. Wow.
But it may be longer, just depending on how you play. But I mean, it's a lot of value for the price, for sure.
Okay.
It's just, again, it's just not as polished as most people would like. But I mean, for the price, it's a good deal.
And just to confirm on video, is that a cat?
Yes.
Okay. I was just like, I thought that was your microphone for the longest time, and I was like, oh my god, his microphone's moving. That made my night.
Times, so
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, Gio's got his favorite pet Mario back in the background there, so.
I'm picking.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right, talking about another release. Well, I almost spoiled what the article was about. So anyway, we got another release coming soon, is what I'll say. But Sega's Phantasy Star, one of the Sega Ages releases. If you've been following this game, if you've been waiting for this game in the West, it has been sort of a roller coaster of emotions, because it was originally going to release back in when
September.
September. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So now we're at the end of October. Then we got news that it was going to be October 31st, but not in the West. Then we found out that it wasn't going to be in the West because today, come and gone, it's not here. But now we've got confirmation today that it will be releasing in the West in the eShop on November 15th. So you can finally, if you would like to play the original Phantasy Star on a modern console, you can pick that up on the eShop in just a couple weeks. So there you go.
Not a game for me. Not a game for me. And I mean, I know that a lot of people like it, but it's just, I don't know, not for me. Maybe it's because it's Sega is attached to it, and I have that fanboyism still from, way back in the day.
I can't tell at all by your T-shirt or anything.
Nope.
No. Look at the T-shirt, the background. Wow.
What can I say? I'm a Nintendo through and through, Nintendo fan. Sorry.
That came to you from RPG Site. This also comes to you from RPG Site. We're talking about another game coming to the West. This one's cool because a lot of people like Dragon Quest Builders. Dragon Quest Builders 2, we've known about its existence for a while, but we did not know if it was actually coming to the West. But we actually do have confirmation for the first time thanks to Nintendo's second quarter earnings release. And we do have confirmation that the game will be localized in the West, according to the report in 2019. So now, Meebo, you played Dragon Quest Builders and you enjoyed it, right? So are you excited about Dragon Quest Builders too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was probably my biggest surprise for the year. I mean, I know it's released on other consoles, but I didn't play it until it came to the Switch. But yeah, I'm absolutely gonna get this.
And the second game adds multiplayer functionality. So
yes,
that's exciting. That's what I'm really excited about.
So the first one didn't have multiplayer. I thought it did, but it didn't. No. Did it have local multiplayer at all?
If it did, I didn't experience it.
I don't think it did. I think that was one of the big draws to this game. I could be wrong there. I don't think it did though.
Yeah, I mean, I only played the demo, and the demo was pretty good. So I didn't have much experience with it, but you enjoyed it, so that's all I need. That's all I need.
Yeah, you'll be playing this one with your son, at least, right?
Right now he is all over Mario Party, so maybe it's a possibility, but Mario Party is where it's at right now.
How is that?
I love it.
Off topic.
A little off topic. That's okay. I enjoy it. I like playing it with him. He's having a good time with it. It's definitely. I mean, I don't see a lot of people talking about it for some reason.
Yeah.
But it is a good game. It's a good party game. Again, he likes it. So what? He's 5 years old. So I mean, someone at 5 years old can certainly play it. Adults can play it. My wife actually plays it. So I mean, it's just a good overall. It's a fun game, and I think it's something over time you could easily add more games to it. So like for example, what they've done with Mario Odyssey, they've supported that game and added content for a whole year. So it's a possibility that maybe they'll do the same thing with Mario Party.
Yeah,
because I mean, how long you can play that game for a while, and you'll have already done a lot of the mini games and everything. So you kind of need to freshen that up a little bit. So
yeah,
I hope they do that. But it is a good game.
Deal.
All right, that wraps up the news for this week. So guys, let's talk about games we've been playing. Gio, do you want to go first?
I don't. Let's let the guest go first.
Sure.
I don't. Let's let him go first.
Yep. Well, pretty easy. I have been binge playing Diablo 3 on the Switch. It's freaking fantastic. I mean, it's the same experience you have from the consoles or from PC, but you can take it on the go anywhere. It's super fun. It runs really well. So yeah, I have been all up in that for the past, half a week. So
yeah,
that's pretty much all I've been playing nonstop.
Yeah. And you played on the PC originally?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, from playing on the PC to playing with a controller, that transition was okay.
The menus took a little getting used to, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. But yeah, initially it was kind of shocking to go from the two extremes. But no, I mean, I have very little to complain about the Switch port for sure.
Okay, and you also did a review on the site. You gave it a great score, so
Yes.
a must play. And I'm gonna have to agree with you because I'm also playing it as well. For the YouTube division of Switchrpg, I am also playing it, and I can't agree more. It's a phenomenal game. I haven't experienced many, if at all, any issues with it. I mean, some of the movie sequences they look off to me. But I actually did play a little bit in handheld, and I was really surprised as to how well it ran handheld.
Yeah.
It runs perfectly smooth. It's really good.
Yeah, the 720p seems in handheld seems a little bit blurry at times. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I mean, as far as running, frames per second, it runs great.
Yep, I totally agree. I have also been playing a game called Transistor. They're makers of I believe it's Bastion. Is that correct? Super giant game. So I've been doing that. Let's Play. I've been playing that. I've also been playing Red Dead. Actually, I'm trying to play it because I'm playing so many games right now. I'm playing the console still. I'm playing Red Dead. I'm playing way too much. But I'm enjoying it all. And so yeah, Red Dead is phenomenal. It looks beautiful. I mean, all the stuff you're hearing about it, it's all good. It's a fantastic game. I mean, there are some moments in the game, for example, when you're looting. That's, I think, one of the biggest drawbacks for me. When you're, say, for example, looting a body or looting a chest of drawers, it goes through the full sequence of you getting down and opening the drawer, opening a cabinet. It just takes a long time to do things like that, and it kind of breaks away from the pace a little bit. But good game. So yeah, I mean, that's what I've been playing. Phil, what about you?
Well, I finished up Dragon Age Origins once again. First time in a few years. So had a lot of fun with that. Talked about that last week. Don't have to rehash that. So what have I been playing? Remember, I can't play my Switch at the moment. So went on Dragon Age Inquisition. I've actually never finished Dragon Age Inquisition. So I was like, you know what? Let me go back and play it. Now, I enjoyed what I played of Inquisition. I've put about 50 hours in over sort of the lifetime of the game, and I've enjoyed it. But I've got to tell you guys, for some reason, it really clicked this time around. I'm really, really, really liking it. I've always kind of criticized it for the open world, but I think that's just because I was sort of stuck into the like Dragon Age has to look like this mindset. And I've just kind of embraced it and said, you know what, let me just take it for what it is. And man, the characters are really good in my opinion. And the world just feels as alive as ever. And I am really, really liking Inquisition so far.
Now, I played a little bit of Inquisition as well. I mean, you got it right with the characters, the story. I got to disagree, though, with the world itself. It's just it feels like it's open world for the sake of being open world. It feels empty to me. And I hate to break your heart, but that's
but I mean, I feel like you could say that Breath of the Wild is really empty. But it was one of my favorite
don't
open worlds of all time. I mean, if you look at it, Breath of the Wild does not have not have a lot going on in it, but it's still one of my favorite open world experiences. So I mean, I get what you're saying, but I still think it's I still think that what BioWare has done is they took what they did really well with like environmental storytelling in the smaller Origins, and they've applied that to a wider space, because everywhere you go, there's some story being told, whether that's through like a codex entry or a letter, or just the way that a literal dead body is like positioned on the ground. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah, there's not a lot of interconnecting things. The spaces do sort of seem isolated, which is a little disappointing, but I'm liking it. Now, Meatball, didn't you play it semi-recently, and you said that you found it a lot more enjoyable?
Yes, I did. But what y'all are saying kind of makes sense, and I felt, for me at least, it stemmed a lot from the quest structure. Just kind of felt on the MMO side of things, not necessarily like kill quest and stuff, but just kind of like your generic stuff to do, little substance involved. That was probably my biggest issue, but I mean, overall, I really enjoyed the game.
For the sake of, since I brought up Breath of the Wild, and don't think that I'm necessarily comparing the two, because I mean, Breath of the Wild is one of the like truest open world experiences I've ever experienced. Like, the amount of freedom that you have is far and above what Inquisition does. But I will say, on the standpoint of like rewarding you for everywhere you go, whether that is through like an actual like physical reward or some sort of like lore tidbit, I feel like Inquisition is sort of right there with Breath of the Wild, in that like every mountain you get to the top of, there's something there, and every like, for example, I was adventuring in the Storm Coast, and I had never gone into this. It wasn't even a cave on the map, but it was just this little overhang into this little alcove, and it wasn't storming anymore. And there was a little letter there with like a corpse, and it was just a really interesting, like, it told sort of the story of those people like finding that cave. And I was just like, okay, well, that was really interesting. There wasn't necessarily like a huge sword in here for me to get, but like it told a story for that area. That felt very sort of Breath of the Wild for me, because I get rewarded for like everywhere I go.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed that game, and I know it does get a lot of flack for whatever reason, but I did enjoy that game. But I did find that, for example, if I was just traversing, maybe it was during a quest line, or if I was just trying to get from one place to another, it just felt like there was just nothing around. And maybe just that I haven't played it in a while, and I'm just misremembering, but that's go ahead. Here's what I would say to you. I think that you are actually fighting a really uphill battle, and I'd be really interested to hear from people who played Inquisition like first, like that was their first entry to the series. Because I mean, you didn't play the other two, exactly. No, that was my first one.
Yeah, so I would love to hear from someone who played Inquisition first and just like fell in love with the game, because I feel like it is not the most accessible world to get into, because even though like it's not continuing the plot, it's continuing the plot. I mean, there is so much backstory with characters, with areas, with organizations. There is so much at this point. Going into Inquisition completely blind, I cannot imagine being that person and loving it. So like, I completely understand why you may even be feeling a disconnect with the open world, simply because you're feeling a disconnect with the narrative, with the characters, with the history of the series. And so like, I completely understand if that's your first game and you don't like it. That makes a lot of sense to me, because it is so dependent on everything else.
That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, like I said, it's not that I disliked it. It's just I felt like it lacked something in the world. That's all.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's head over to switchrpg.com to check the game releases. Now, Gio teased that this was a really good week for releases. He teased that last week. Like I say, there are pretty good titles releasing this week. From October 30th, so when you're listening to this, it's been a couple days, Steven Universe Saved the Light released. Also on the 30th, OK, KO, Let's Play Heroes released. And at this point, you're thinking, Gio, what the heck are you talking about? Good games being released this week. Well, here you go. November 1st, we got Transistor coming. Gio, you've been pretty positive on Transistor. And then November 2nd, we've got Meatball Sub praising Diablo 3 Eternal Collection. That's hitting on November 2nd. So those are two pretty substantial releases right there this week.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely good releases.
And just to keep the tease game going, next week, we've got some doozies too.
Whoa.
So check back next week for those releases.
Yeah, don't look at the calendar.
Don't go to Nintendo. don't go to Switchrpg. No. Yeah, if you want to see what they are, go to switchrpg.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hear from you. Remember, we're all about community here at the Switchrpg podcast. So if you want to be part of the show, remember you can hit up that switchrpg.com/podcast, fill out that question form, send it to us, or you can hit us up in Discord. That's discord.switchrpg.com. This week we've got a slew of questions from one, I would say, top 5 Hall of Fame listener, Paul Nichols. That's what we're on. Hall of Fame listener. Absolutely a Hall of Fame listener.
He doesn't actually win anything. It's just in name only, I guess.
We don't send him like a gold jacket or something?
We send him nothing.
Okay.
But we love the questions.
We do love the question. We love getting things. He sends us stuff. We don't send him stuff. We give him answers. That's good.
That's it.
Paul Nichols has a few questions here we're going to go through. Great questions. First off, what is the best mini game in an RPG? There it is. What's the best mini game in an RPG? I'm not saying his answer because it may be my answer. So one of you guys go.
Go ahead, Meatball.
What do you got? Snowboarding in Final Fantasy VII. I mean, what else is there?
Okay. Next question.
Probably Triple Triad in Final Fantasy VIII. Because I'm not a big card game player, but that particular game, and in Final Fantasy IX, it was pretty good too. But the Final Fantasy VIII version, I couldn't stop playing. I loved it. Yeah.
Nice.
So that would be my pick.
Yep. Okay. I mean, for me, it's Gwent in Witcher 3.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Well, how did you know? I don't know how you would know that, but yeah, Gwent. I put a stupid amount of time in Gwent.
You played a whole nother game in Gwent.
I want to say it was an achievement I was going for, right?
Okay.
So I was going for the achievement, and I just kept playing. I got the achievement, and I just kept playing. Gwent. I'm like, I am getting really good at this, and I just kept playing and playing. I loved it, and they have their own kind of, so it's their own thing now. Now they actually have a Gwent game, and I can play anytime I want to. It's mobile, right? I believe it is, anyways.
And now they're coming out with like a game called Thronebreaker or something that is sort of semi based on Gwent, but there's an actual game. Anyway, mine would be shared with Paul Nichols. I was kind of angry that he said this because this was going to be mine. Because I played a whole other game in Blitzball. I put the amount of time in Blitzball as I would another RPG. But Blitzball from Final Fantasy X. You want to talk about like playing it enough till like you were stupid good. You can go around and recruit players. Yep. And you eventually get brother, and then the game's broken. So my brother and I would play hours and hours, tournament after tournament after tournament, and just win, and that's all that mattered. It was great.
I put a decent amount of time in that as well, but probably not even close to what you did. It sounds like you put in days. I'm sure.
I will never forgive the game, though, for forcing me to play with Waka instead of Titus in that final. I mean, what are you talking about? Taking destiny out of my own hands.
Oh, no.
What are you guys... Next question. What are your guys' gaming deal breakers?
I mean, he answered the question, and he hit the nail right up for me, right on the head. Anything pay to win, is a no-go. So when you had your Star Wars Battlefront 2, your recent No, that was. I mean, it looked beautiful. It was definitely a game I was into, but that fiasco they went through, it was just nope, not for me at all.
Do you have anything else to add to that?
I'm sorry, me? Did you say me?
Meatball. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you were talking to him. I would definitely go with the pay to win too. As somebody that's played a ton of MMOs, that's probably the first thing I look at when I start one up. It's surprisingly prevalent, more and more every year. So you got to watch out for it.
Yeah, you definitely see it in the free-to-play MMOs. I mean, I feel like that's the only way they get through. But I mean, Guild Wars just does it right. You outright pay for the game, and any microtransactions are just simply cosmetic.
Yeah,
I mean, there are some XP boosters, I believe.
Yeah, there are.
But you don't need them at all.
Yeah, it's convenience. It's convenience.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one stutter. Frame rate drops. That's the deal breaker for me. And I'm not trying to be like a 60 FPS snob or anything, but like when games chug, that's just really hard for me to get over. I would rather have great performance, and I've said this before. I'd rather have great performance and scale back the graphics. I have been known to play games on my PC at a little bit lower graphics level so that it'll be silky smooth. That's just my thing. As soon as it drops below 30 and it gets into like the 20 range, just forget it, hang it up. I can't play. Yeah,
I mean, essentially the game is a little broken. But for example, with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you play that handheld, it can sometimes look like a mess, but I didn't mind it at all. I really didn't. I put so much time into that game. I just played through it. And I mean, it was obviously noticeable, but it didn't affect me one bit. And it seemed like did that affect you when you played at all, or?
It didn't make me stop. It didn't make me stop playing. No, it didn't make me stop playing, but it was tough. That and look, for anybody who's been listening to this podcast longer than like a week, I periodically mention Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as like the pinnacle of please optimize your games for the platform that it was created on. Because and I know that it was a big game, was a big endeavor. I know that they were like handicapped as a studio because of Breath of the Wild, but like some of the performance issues in that game were really hard for me to look past because it was a Switch game.
I mean, it was essentially it was really new to the Switch. And I think optimization is only going to get better. Mm-hmm. And with the next iteration of Xenoblade or any game for that matter, it should continuously get better. I would think that these people are talking to each other. So I don't know that if that game was to be released right now, I don't think you'd see that. And I haven't played Torna, and I don't know if you guys have played Torna, but I would think that game, or I'm gonna call it a game because it essentially is its own game. I would say that that's probably optimized really well, and you're not going to have those frame rate drops or that anything that Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the base game, had. I would think that because it's a later addition or later addition to that game, it's going to be better optimized.
Yep.
The next question: what franchises are insta-buy for you? Paul Nichols, for reference, put Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's going to be mine as well. Elder Scrolls more so necessarily than Fallout. Fallout 4 was, I can't remember. I think I played Fallout 4. That was my first Fallout game. Was Fallout 4. Yeah.
Really?
And then I went back and played some of 3 in New Vegas, but Fallout 4 was my first. But Elder Scrolls is definitely insta-buy, and I think you can guess the other. A small-time sort of indie game franchise from BioWare. It's in a fantasy setting.
You never talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, it is the same. It's Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and it's even proven with the newest iteration of Fallout 76. It's not getting the best reviews out there. People are, people aren't liking it or aren't enjoying it. It's not your typical Fallout experience. And I've said this before. I have every single collector's edition of the Fallout games, and I don't even know if I have the collector's edition for Fallout 76 pre-ordered. I'm probably not even going to play the game, but I'm going to keep my pre-order just because it's the Fallout. You know,
the helmet,
it's Fallout.
Right?
Yeah, and you got that helmet. And again, I might not even open it. I don't even know. But again, it's an instant buy for me. It really is. I mean, I'm in love with the lore. I'm in love with all that stuff. But a new newcomer would be Xenoblade. I mean, if they were to put out another game, I'm in on it for sure. They hit it out of the park with the first one. They hit it out of the. I think they did a really good job with X. Although a lot of people don't really enjoy it too much, but I do enjoy it. And Chronicles 2, forget it. It's off the charts. So Monolith Soft would definitely be on the list for me.
Yeah. Well, outside of those two, I would say Mass Effect until Andromeda happened.
There you go. Yep.
So yeah, that was a little disappointing. But other than that, I guess the longest running one would definitely have to be World of Warcraft or Warcraft. Basically, I had Warcraft 3 and 2, but even when I haven't been subscribed to the game, I've bought every single expansion. Like even if I hadn't played in a year, like I would pre-order them most of the time. Like it didn't make any sense, but for whatever reason, I impulse bought all of them.
Yeah.
So, and well, I mean, I'm not even playing now, but of course I have the new expansion too. So.
Well, you got to support them. I mean, they're not doing well. So you got to support them.
Poor Blizzard.
Yeah, that's what they say.
So for you, it seems like anything Blizzard related. So did you do? So you got Diablo, you got the Warcraft. Did you do Overwatch at all, or are you not into those?
I got Overwatch. I didn't get it day one. I played it for a little while. I'm not really big on shooters, unless it's like an RPG. Like I mean, I like Destiny. But other than that, yeah, I haven't played it much.
Yeah, so you're a big Blizzard supporter. That's okay. Yep. Yeah, you got Dragon Age man over here. You got Blizzard man, and I don't even know what I am, but I'll let you guys decide that. Cool.
I guess another one for me would be Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Yeah, excited about.
I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game. I think maybe I should at some point.
Oh, right? That's another game you want to talk about. Don't go in Kingdom Hearts 3 being your first, please, for the love of
so
everything.
I have to go back to the beginning of time for that one?
Yeah, and like I've said before, it makes no sense that they're not putting the collection on Xbox. So go figure.
Yeah.
Okay. I just saw somebody wrote a note in here under one of these questions, and I just saw it for the first time. Favorite source for game reviews. Somebody said Switchrpg in the document here. But do you have like a website or like a YouTuber or a blogger or somebody that you trust most when it comes to game reviews and stuff?
Obviously Switchrpg.com. I mean, let's just move on to the next question.
Specifically, Meatball Sub. Switchrpg.com.
Sorry, you avoiding me?
Geo doesn't read anything.
My reading comprehension is just a little low. That's okay.
It's just a little bit above his writing ability.
So yeah, second grade.
Yeah.
So where do you guys go? Where do you guys go for your gaming news?
Go okay, so gaming news real quick. Kind of funny for like my gaming I don't know what you want to call it. Yeah, entertainment curation. That's what I want to say. Gaming curation. IGN for news. I do like to keep up with Kotaku, and I guess that's really sort of my gambit there.
Okay. I do more. I mean, those I do generally. I do go to some websites like RP Gamer, RPG site, MMORPG.com. But most of my news actually comes from Twitter. So I follow a lot of these people, and a lot of them, they come out with these news, and that's generally what I do. That's how I keep up. I don't usually go to a site. That's how I keep up with all my stuff, is on Twitters. Yeah.
For me, if I'm gonna look for a written review, I usually like to go to Giant Bomb.
Okay.
I like those guys over there. And for video reviews, I usually check out ACG. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but probably the most complete and concise video reviews out there. Like, the dude covers everything. He's super intelligent, goes intimately into everything about the game. It's a really good, he does a really good job. So that's usually the two places I go.
He's the one who does wait to buy, don't buy. Yeah, he's the guy who does it. Okay, yeah, I do go to him too. He's really good.
Yeah.
One that's sort of out of the way, is a little bit off the radar. I have followed him for years and years and years. He does fewer reviews, and he does what he calls ruminations, which means he takes basically like an hour to talk super in depth on these things. His channel's name is Lore Runner. He does that, and then he also streams marathons of him playing and like talking about lore as he goes through the game. So he's one of my favorites. So it's not necessarily news, but when it comes to like who do I trust opinions of, he's extremely intelligent, extremely thoughtful, and just he sort of like inspired the way that I look at games, because I've followed him for years and years and years.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, he's good too.
His Final Fantasy VI rumination is 6 hours long. So,
oh my!
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna get a charger real quick, otherwise this is gonna cut out. So y'all can carry on. But
go. All right, G-O. Okay, G-O. You know what time it is?
It's time for him to get a charger.
Meatball had to go get a charger because he knew that it's time to pack our bags. He's like, I gotta get a charger because the side quest is happening, and if I don't, then the phone's going to die. So, Gio, cue the music. It's time for a side quest.
That's not me, dude. I don't cue the music. Cue.
Okay, all right. Here we go. Okay, this week's side quest is actually brought to you by Meatball Sub.
Oh.
He asks if you have
You didn't write it down.
That's what this is for.
Okay.
If you had to label only 3 Switchrpgs as essential buys, excluding Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm kidding. You label 3 Switchrpgs as essential buys: a console exclusive, a port, and an indie title, port or not. What would they be?
I'll let him go first. He came up with it, so I'm assuming he has at least one in mind for each thing. So let's just go over what was it? It was indie, it was port, and
console exclusive.
Okay, so go ahead. We'll just do one at a time. So console exclusive, and we'll each give our take on it.
Okay. So mine for console exclusive is definitely Breath of the Wild. Even though our resident gaming journalist doesn't believe it's an RPG, I can see both sides of the fence, but
there's only one side of the fence.
My side.
The fact that my non-gaming wife put 360 hours into this game.
What? Like, almost an hour per day for a whole year.
Crazy. But I mean, if she can get that much enjoyment out of it, I mean, that it's like a way to bridge the gap between people that maybe aren't used to RPGs. They can experience it a little bit with that. I don't see how I could choose anything else.
Okay. Well, I think you guys know what I'm gonna pick. So go ahead, Phil.
Well, okay. So here's the other thing, though. Like, Pokemon's not out yet, so I need a list of like console exclusive RPGs. Because I mean, I'm thinking Breath of the Wild was mine, and I was like, oh, that's not even an RPG. But I mean, that's my answer. because I know Gio is going to go Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is another obvious answer. But like, console exclusive.
I'll tell you right now, Mario plus Rabbids is actually a really good.
Yeah, but I didn't. I never played that one.
It really is a good tactical RPG.
And then I will say that one so that we do give it a fair. It's fair share. So Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Yeah, and that one also was supported very well by the developers. So.
Timeout. Octopath Traveler. That'll be mine. Octopath Traveler. Yeah. We can't have this list without saying that. I mean, there you go.
We could have that list without saying that. Just saying. I fell out of love with the game. Okay.
All right. So go ahead and give the most obvious answer in the world.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I mean, how could you? How could you not? I mean, it's everything's perfect about the game. The music is awesome.
Okay. What? Hang on. Let's put on our rose-tinted glasses here.
They're dirty, but I mean,
it's a great game. It's a fantastic game.
All right. Aside from the sluggishness that only Phil has experienced, I mean, the music is good. The combat, once you get the feel of the combat, it is like I've said it before. It's like a rhythm game. It really is. It feels awesome. The characters are lovable. They're charming. So it's funny. I put a billion hours into it. Buy it. Just buy it, please. Okay. I hope you're happy.
All right. Now we're doing a port.
Now this is any port, non-exclusive. It doesn't matter.
Right, but don't. It can't be indie though.
Okay.
Yeah, so mine was Ys 8. And that's another one that took me by surprise. Before that, didn't have a bunch of experience with the Ys series, but this one just blew me away. Characters are great, the story's great, music's fantastic. It looks like a PS2 game, but it's fun to play. So that would be my choice.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that game. There's just been so many other games that keep popping up, but that game does really. I mean, if I ever come to a point where I don't have anything to play, that would definitely be one that would be on my list for sure of games to get.
Yep, it's a good one.
Yeah, Phil, what do you got? You're looking it up. You don't know.
Okay, so here's the other thing. It's like, what's not indie? But I do have a couple. One would be Monster Hunter. I think if you're thinking like, what are you gonna get the best bang for your buck? I mean, you can't go wrong with a Monster Hunter. But then also, once again, bang for your buck, Skyrim.
There you go. You blew it. That was gonna be mine. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with Skyrim, right? I mean, it's tried and true. It's on like everything, right? It's on like Alexa. It's on your refrigerator. All of it.
Now, I mean, all of this is good and fine. This list is good and fine until Final Fantasy 12: The Zodiac Age comes out, and then that is the answer above all answers.
I mean, if you want, it's confirmed that it's come out. So you could choose that as
there. I mean, that is the one. That's the one.
I hope it runs just as smooth as Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does.
Yeah, I was about to say, what if the port sucks?
Don't you dare wish that on me.
Take those words out of your mouth.
And then, not. Okay, and then final an indie title, and it can be either a port or it can be not a port.
So I was originally going to do Golf Story, but I figured if you're going to play a sports RPG, you could just play Madden. So instead of that, I used.
He did that without even batting an eye.
That was great.
Sorry, I had to.
No, you didn't. You didn't have to. You don't have to do that.
But what I really did choose was Earthlock. So that's made from a small indie company. I don't think it got a lot of traction just because of the price and the fact that they rebranded it from basically the same game but a lot worse, and they didn't really change up the name of the game or anything like that, so there was a lot of confusion surrounding that. But I mean, as far as just like a classic turn-based RPG, it's hard to beat that. It's got a really unique art style. Music's real good. So that's one I recommend for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so I feel like this is the category that the Switch is really shining with. So I do have a couple here. My obvious choice, even though I don't necessarily think it's a game for everyone, it would be Banner Saga. I think that is just an absolute piece of art on the Switch. Really so there's that. But also, I mean, Golf Story was my other. That was a huge surprise game for me. I thought that I would enjoy it, but I wound up loving it. And then I also enjoyed Super Gerald Deluxe this year. That was a lot of fun. And there was one more, but it left me. So Gio, take it away.
Okay. Actually, going back to ports. Okay, I'm sorry. You got it. You got
Blossom Tales, and you're good.
Yes.
You're good.
All right, cool. Yeah, Blossom Tales. I so need to get that on my Switch. But going back to ports, I totally missed out on this, and it actually just released was Dark Souls. I was able to play it. My brother-in-law has it, so I was able to play it at his house, and man, it really is good. It's just as good as I remember. So that also is. I mean, it's not for everyone. And even he is having a lot of difficulty getting into the combat because it is so difficult. But it really is. Once you get the hang of it, it is so much fun. But for indie, for me, I didn't get to play it on the Switch, but I did play it on PC. Was Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon is, again, it's another difficult game. It does push back a little bit, but it really is a lot of fun. Another one is Battle Chasers. I put a lot of time in that. It has like you had mentioned, Meatball, with the art style. It has that comic book-esque art style. It's a turn-based game. Airship Syndicate, I think, is the developer. And that's definitely one I would recommend. I love that game. The music in it is really good as well.
Yep.
And then one for an honorable mention, because it's in Meatball Sub's top 5 favorite RPGs of all time. Lost Sphere from Tokyo RPG Factory.
No.
Yeah, my absolute favorite.
I applaud myself for saying that with a straight face.
Well, he said Madden with a straight face.
Nobody can do any better than Meatball Sub saying Madden with a straight face. That was fantastic.
I appreciate that.
I felt like he was sitting on that the whole episode, just like.
I might have.
I hate you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that actually brings us to the end of our side quest. That was a fun one. That was a great question.
Yeah,
you need to come up with some more side quests for us. And this is going to bring us to the end of our show. Episode 28 of the Switchrpg podcast in the books. Thank you so much for listening this far, and thank you to everyone who sent their questions and feedback from the last show. Keep them coming. Remember, you can hit up the switchrpg.com/podcast, send in that question form, or you can contact us on Discord at discord.switchrpg.com. You can listen to the show each and every Friday now on your favorite podcasting app, or you can watch us on YouTube. If you like what you hear and see, remember you can head over to patreon.com/switchrpg and drop us $1 or $2. But if not, that's totally fine, because you just being a part of the community, offering your eyes and ears and typing and all that good stuff is what we love. That's what matters to us. And remember, you can head over to switchrpg.com to find a full database of Switch RPGs. Until next time, I'm going to go convince Gio that Dragon Age Inquisition is a quality game.
It's a quality. Whatever. I'm going to go play Madden, apparently.
There you go.
I literally probably will go play Madden. No, Madden 19 is fantastic. Just, you know what? Just throwing that out there. And it is an RPG. It is an RPG.
I'm going to fight you. No, it's not. No, it's not. It definitely is not.
And Meatball, thank you so much for being on the show, everybody.
Yes.
Have a good
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Later. Yeah.